High above the Earth's surface, in the cold, endless dark of space, there drifts a solitary object, silent and enigmatic. It has no flashing lights, no obvious signs of propulsion, and makes no grand announcements of its presence. Yet for decades, it has captured the imagination of scientists, conspiracy theorists, and dreamers alike. This object is known as the Black Knight satellite, and to some, it represents one of the greatest mysteries of our era, a puzzle that stretches back through millennia, hinting at secrets far beyond the reach of our current understanding. The story of the Black Knight is not contained to a single moment or even a single century. Instead, it is woven from threads of observation, speculation, and myth, each adding a new layer to the legend. What exactly is this object? Is it nothing more than a misidentified piece of space debris, its origins well within the grasp of mundane explanation? Or is it, as some believe, a sentinel from a distant past, an alien artifact left in orbit to watch over humanity for thousands of years? To begin unraveling the tale of the Black Knight, we must first turn our gaze back to the closing years of the 19th century, to a time when the mysteries of the cosmos were only just beginning to reveal themselves. It is the year 1899. In the windswept plains of Colorado Springs, a solitary figure toils late into the night, surrounded by a labyrinth of wires, coils, and strange machines. This is Nikola Tesla, one of history's most brilliant inventors and a man obsessed with unlocking the secrets of electricity and wireless communication. Tesla's mind is always several steps ahead of his contemporaries, and it is during one of his late-night experiments with a high-voltage radio transmitter that he intercepts something entirely unexpected. Tesla records, hearing a series of repeating signals, pulses from the ether that seem too organized, too deliberate to be random noise. He writes with urgency and wonder. Although I could not decipher their meaning, it was impossible for me to think of them as having been entirely accidental. To Tesla, these signals suggest a form of intelligence, perhaps even a message from another planet. At the time, the scientific community dismisses his claims. Radio waves are still a novelty, and the idea of interplanetary communication is the realm of science fiction. Yet Tesla remains convinced, and years later, some theorists will look back on this moment as the first whisper of the Black Knight satellite, a sign that something, or someone, has been trying to reach out to us from the void. The story grows stranger as we move forward in time, to the dawn of the space age. It is now the 1950s, and the world is gripped by the tension of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union are locked in a fierce competition for technological supremacy, their eyes now fixed on the heavens above. Both nations deploy powerful radar and tracking systems, eager to detect any object that might threaten their security. It is in this climate of suspicion and discovery that reports begin to emerge of strange objects in orbit. In 1954, several newspapers, including the St. Louis Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner, publish sensational stories. The US Air Force, they claim, is tracking not one, but two satellites of unknown origin orbiting the Earth. This is a full 3 years before the launch of Sputnik, the world's first official artificial satellite. These reports spark a flurry of speculation. Are these spy satellites perhaps the work of the Soviets? Or is something else at play, an object that predates human technology, circling the Earth for reasons unknown? The Air Force denies the claims, and the story fades from the headlines, but the seeds of curiosity have been sown. The intrigue deepens in 1960, when Time magazine reports that the US Navy has detected a dark object in a polar orbit, a trajectory neither the United States nor the Soviet Union can achieve at the time. Unlike most satellites, which follow equatorial paths, this object circles the planet from pole to pole, making it almost impossible to track with the limited technology of the era. To some, this is clear evidence of the Black Knight, a satellite not bound by the limitations of human engineering. To others, it is simply a case of mistaken identity, a misinterpretation of radar data, or perhaps the detection of a piece of space debris. Yet the mystery persists, and the legend of the Black Knight grows. The next chapter in this story unfolds in the late 1990s, during the age of digital photography and rapidly advancing space exploration. In 1998, the crew of the Space Shuttle Endeavour, on mission STS-88, is tasked with assembling modules of the International Space Station. As they work, they capture a series of photographs showing a strange, tumbling object floating against the backdrop of Earth. The object appears metallic, with asymmetrical, almost sculpted features. Its surface catches the sunlight in odd ways, and its movements do not match those of a typical satellite or piece of debris. NASA releases these photos to the public, but offers little in the way of explanation. The official story is that the object is likely a thermal blanket, an insulating sheet accidentally lost during a spacewalk. To many, however, this explanation seems unsatisfying. The object's size, shape, and reflective qualities do not match those of a simple blanket. Online forums and alternative researchers seize upon the photos, declaring them visual proof of the Black Knight's existence. For some, this is the smoking gun, a tangible glimpse of the object that has haunted science and folklore for decades. For others, it is yet another case of wishful thinking and misunderstood imagery. But the legend refuses to die, and the photographs become central to the ongoing debate. The question remains, if the Black Knight is real, what is its purpose? Is it truly an alien probe, left behind by a civilization far older and wiser than our own? One of the most intriguing theories comes from Scottish astronomer Duncan Loonan. In the 1970s, Loonan investigates a series of mysterious radio phenomena known as long-delayed echoes, radio signals that bounce back to Earth seconds or even minutes after transmission, defying the known laws of physics. Loonan believes he has decoded a message hidden within these echoes, a star map pointing to the Epsilon Boötes system, located more than 200 light-years away. According to Loonan, the message claims to have been sent 13,000 years ago and describes a civilization that sought to observe humanity from afar. Critics are quick to dismiss his findings as pseudoscience and coincidence. But Loonan's work adds another layer to the Black Knight legend. If the satellite is indeed 13,000 years old, it predates all known human civilizations, standing as silent witness to the rise and fall of empires, the birth of languages, and the evolution of our species. Despite the skepticism, the mystery of long-delayed echoes remains unsolved. Could these signals be the work of a hidden satellite, relaying messages from deep space? Or are they simply artifacts of atmospheric conditions, misunderstood by early radio pioneers? The Black Knight's legend is further fueled by reports from amateur radio operators who claim to have intercepted strange, repeating transmissions over the years. These signals often do not match any known language or code, and sometimes appear to use outdated radio protocols no longer in use. Some operators report hearing sequences that seem almost mathematical, as if the transmissions are attempts at universal communication. There are also tales of the object changing its orbit, performing maneuvers that defy the rules of physics, as if guided by a hidden intelligence. In 2015, an unconfirmed report circulates online, claiming that a military satellite malfunctioned and failed after approaching the Black Knight's supposed trajectory. The incident is never officially acknowledged, but it adds to the aura of secrecy surrounding the object. Throughout all this, no government or space agency has ever confirmed the existence of the Black Knight. It remains unacknowledged, existing only in the shadows, an enigma glimpsed in photos, heard in radio static, and whispered about in corridors of power. But perhaps the Black Knight's greatest power lies not in its physical form, but in its symbolism. The very name itself is evocative: Black Knight, a figure shrouded in mystery, powerful, and often misunderstood. In Arthurian legend, the Black Knight is a shadowy presence, sometimes a guardian, sometimes a challenger, always enigmatic. The choice of name seems deliberate, suggesting that the object is not merely a piece of technology, but a character in a cosmic drama. In esoteric traditions, black represents the hidden, the unknown, the parts of reality that lie beyond ordinary perception. The night, meanwhile, is a figure of intelligence, vigilance, and sometimes spiritual warfare. Some theorists speculate that the Black Night is both literal and symbolic, a device and a message, a sentinel and a sign. If the Black Night is real, if it truly is an alien artifact placed in orbit 13,000 years ago, what does it mean for humanity? The implications are staggering. It would mean that we are not alone, that someone or something has been watching us for millennia, perhaps guiding our development, perhaps simply observing, perhaps waiting for us to reach a certain stage of maturity. It would suggest that human history is only a small part of a much larger tapestry woven across the stars and the ages. Some speculate that the Black Night is part of a galactic observation network, a relay station for a civilization so advanced that our achievements are as the first fires in a long night. Others imagine it as a test, a beacon that will only activate when we demonstrate the ability to find it, decipher its signals, and perhaps even respond. Or perhaps it is a warning or a safeguard, placed to ensure that we do not stray too far, too fast into the cosmic unknown. And yet, after all these years, the Black Night remains silent. It makes no demands, issues no threats, offers no greetings. Its silence is, in itself, a kind of message, a challenge to our curiosity, our skepticism, and our sense of wonder. For all our advances in technology, our fleets of satellites, our powerful telescopes and radars, the truth about the Black Night eludes us. There are no definitive answers, only tantalizing hints, fragments of stories, photographs that defy explanation, signals that whisper of something just out of reach. Perhaps that is the point. Perhaps the Black Night's true purpose is to provoke us, to make us question, to inspire us to look beyond the obvious, to remind us that there are mysteries in the universe that cannot be solved by simple means. Maybe it was never meant to be found, or maybe, just maybe, it is waiting for the right moment, the right person, or the right question, because sometimes the most important signal is the one you're not supposed to hear. The greatest mysteries are those that force us to look deeper, to confront the unknown, to seek meaning in silence, and to marvel at the possibility that we are part of a much larger story written among the stars. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, there may be more watching us than we can ever imagine. The Black Night, whatever it may be, endures as a symbol of our deepest hopes and fears, a silent guardian, a cosmic riddle, and a reminder that the universe is still and always will be full of wonder.